in the basement tied up with his house. I just saw him through the window.
It was a shock to the community.
He only has pants on, and the hands are tied.
Okay, all right, we're gonna help her, ma'am.
Oh my God!
Lisa was an extremely loyal friend to me. She was the most genuine person I feel like I've ever met in my life. She was funny, loving, very down to earth. She just, was very likable, very friendly, kind of like the life of the party, if you will. Just so easy to get along with.
He's one of the most, big-hearted people you would ever meet. Like I said, if you're hanging around Johnny, there was guaranteed to be a smile on your face.
Evil invaded an idyllic southern Lucas County neighborhood more than 10 years ago. It snuffed out the lives of the boyfriend and girlfriend with the big smiles. Johnny Clarke and Lisa Straub were found on the kitchen floor of her parents' home. Their hands were tied behind their backs. They were not stabbed, they were not shot. Plastic bags were duct taped over their heads. A medical examiner later testified that it could have taken them minutes to die from lack of oxygen, either from the duct tape or the bags.
Have you heard of another case in this area where someone was killed in the same manner?
To my knowledge, no, I haven't. That specific MO, we haven't had anything like that ourselves.
It was so violent that it shocked the normally quiet Toledo suburb.
I remember that when I was a sergeant in the field operations at the time, and I was in charge of the block watches in Springfield Township, and the times where we would normally have 10 or 12 people, 20 people show up to a block watch meeting, a monthly meeting, we were having 80 or 90 show up.
The murders were also rare in that a witness said she actually overheard the start of the attack. Tiffany Williams calls Clarke at 10:41 p.m.
And you hear, was it, bro, what are you doing? Or was it,
no.
Bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, just like that.
Bro.
She overhears a male voice in the background.
Did he sound like he knew them people?
That's why I said I think that whoever did it, he knew.
But rather than call police, Williams goes to the home with her friend Zach Burkett. It was a move that was later questioned by families and detectives.
I pulled the door open and started knocking. And then there still was no answer, so I had looked in there's a side window right here. I had looked in and didn't see nobody, so I just left.
Horrible. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Trial, I think, was July.
It was awful.
Lisa's friend Sarah Mettler still has that final haunting message from her friend, dated the day of the murder.
She had messaged me the day of, and had asked if we could hang out soon, and that she missed me.
Later in the night, a friend alerts Johnny's mother to the mysterious phone call. She calls 911.
And all she heard was the phone drop and heard my son saying in the background, "Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here?" And she said she just drove by the house, and the house looks ransacked. All the lights are on. My son's not answering, and neither is the girlfriend.
Police search the outside of the home at 2 different points throughout the night. Nothing unusual is seen. But Johnny's father decides he can wait no longer, and when the police leave for the second time, he kicks in the front door.
I was just hoping that I would get in there, number one, save them, and catch them all in there so I could just have my own justice, I guess.
Police swarm the scene. BCI and sheriff's investigators comb through the house. No obvious evidence jumps out, but a cigarette is found near the door leading to the garage. And that cigarette leads to the first big break in the case.
You tell me why your DNA was in my crime scene.
I was living the street life.
That's not the Sam I know at all.
I know that I was at the bottom line bar.
I'm gonna try and make this person look like an absolute monster. You tell me why your DNA was in my crime scene.
2 lives lost in a brutal 2011 murder.
The one thing that could not be explained adequately is, how do you explain, Sam Williams, how your DNA on a cigarette butt got inside of a garage of a home you had never been to before?
I have no explanation. I know I did not place that there.
A jury disagreed. On July 27, 2012, Samuel Todd Williams was found guilty of killing Johnny Clarke and Lisa Straub.
We, the jury, having found Samuel Todd Williams guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
The couple was killed inside the Holland home of Lisa's parents on January 30th, 2011.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
How did your DNA get in there then, Sam?
I have no idea.
A cigarette with Williams' DNA was found inside the house.
And I hope that at some point the family members of these 2 young people will be able to remember Lisa and Johnny and yet never remember you.
He was sentenced to 2 life terms with no chance of parole. He says he is innocent.
Well, he was there hanging out with us. I mean, it was all just chit-chatting, you know. I've known Sam since he was a little kid.
I know that I was at the bottom line bar watching the Probo with a few other people, which one was Destiny Madrid, the girl that got arrested on my case. My cousin Larry Jailhouse was there. Eddie Flores was there.
And Eddie's cousin Nick was there, according to multiple people who spoke with 11 Investigates.
My little cousin's birthday is January 31st. He turned 21.
A record search shows that Flores' cousin did turn 21 in January 2011. Sam says he bought him a shot at midnight.
He was with me that night.
It was a story that Madrid repeatedly told detectives and confirmed to 11 Investigates.
But I know that night, on January 31st, we were at the bottom line, watching the football games, with his cousin Larry Jailhouse, and it was his cousin's 21st birthday. He was with me that night. Cameo, I don't know where Cameo was.
That's enough.
At one point, Detective Jeff Kozak tells her of evidence they have uncovered.
What if I tell you that you're not on the video at the bottom line on that night?
What do you mean?
The bottom line has video.
Right.
You or Sam are not on that video that night.
Detectives did not have video. The bar had no video from that night. Phone records show that Williams called Madrid at 10:27 p.m. The call pinged off a cell tower near the bar. He said he called her as she was walking to the bar. And that bar is more than 20 miles to the site of the murder, 30 minutes by car.
You call
I
Johnny.
called, yes.
Tiffany Williams was on the phone with Johnny Clarke at 10:41 when she said she overheard Clarke yelling at 2 people before the call suddenly ended.
All the hard evidence that we have.
Captain Matt Luettke says he's comfortable with the conviction.
The case that was made, the evidence that was collected, I think speaks for itself.
But it's not that simple. There is almost no evidence at the scene against Williams or anyone except for the cigarette and several sets of unknown DNA. But what the prosecutors also had was the testimony of Eric Yingling, a jailhouse snitch. What Yingling said was that Sam Williams put himself right at the scene of the crime, and he also told him exactly how the murders were committed. But what Yingling said was completely known to the public before he talked to the police and to the jury. And 11 Investigators also learned that he was paid thousands of dollars after his testimony against Sam Williams.
He did try to engage in conversation with me, so for me to say that he didn't would be me lying. He did. However, I did not have not one single conversation with him about anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Not the case, not my life.
But Yingling told me a much different story during an hour-long conversation. I couldn't get him to shut up. He was pouring it out. It was like I was a priest and he was in a confessional.
Had I been a jury member on that jury, and had I not known the truth, I too probably would have believed Eric Yingling. That's how convincing he came across.
For the past 10 years, Williams' Aunt Mary has stood beside him, talking to him every single day.
Sam has been very open with me about a lot of bad choices he's made in his life. And there's no reason for me to believe that he would ever lie to me. Sam didn't have anything to do with this. He wasn't there. He was at a bar on the east side.
So much time has passed, but to me, I'm still stuck in that second in time.
You never threatened Johnny?
There could be other people that were involved.
They brought him back inside, and that's when it all went bad.
On the day of his murder in January 2011, Johnny Clarke's phone was blowing up. He was called 51 times. 22 calls after 10:41 p.m. went unanswered.
That's how I knew something was wrong, because he didn't answer.
Like I said, maybe a minute, 2 minutes.
Tiffany Williams talked to Clarke for 26 seconds at 10:41 p.m.
So you call him, he answers 1 to 2 rings. He doesn't say anything.
He did not say
And you
anything.
hear, was it, bro, what are you doing? Or was it,
No.
bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, just like that.
Bro, what are you doing?
At that point, investigators believe multiple people overwhelmed Clarke and forced their way into the home of Clarke's girlfriend, Lisa Straub. They were suffocated with bags and duct tape. Sam Williams was convicted of aggravated murder and kidnapping.
There's been insufficient evidence presented by the state.
The second man, Cameo Petaway, was acquitted in 2012. Multiple sets of unknown DNA were found on duct tape used in the attack and on Johnny's clothing. The case remains open. DNA samples were taken from dozens of people, but 11 investigators learned that despite DNA advances, no evidence has been submitted for testing since 2013.
I'm not saying that it's not something that could take place in the future. It's just not something that we've embraced completely here locally.
The final call Johnny made was at 10:41 p.m. Johnny told a friend he was waiting for Watson. 9 months after the killing, Anthony Watson came to police with a scenario that named Williams and 3 others.
What we're doing is Johnny sees Sam.
Yeah, well, I guess they wasn't faced, you know what I mean? I guess it wasn't seen by face, but it was, you know what I mean? I guess it was, from what it was, she told me they were masked up, you know what I mean?
Who was messed up?
Masked up.
Oh, masked
Yeah.
up. Okay.
So he confronted somebody.
Yeah, he confronted somebody when he walked out, and they pushed him back inside. They brought him back inside, and that's when it all went bad.
And all she heard was the phone drop and heard my son saying in the background, "Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here?"
They rummaged from the house looking for and couldn't find They couldn't find no safe, nothing. So I guess they started checking in walls and
And she said she just drove by the house, and the house looks ransacked. All the lights are on. My son's not answering, and neither is the girlfriend.
So I don't know what it was they used to wrap him up, but it sounded to me like, as she said, it was tape.
We can see the people. Him and his girlfriend are tied up in the basement.
I guess Johnny tried to struggle, you know what I mean?
They're unconscious, ma'am.
What'd she say?
basically took care of him, you know what I mean?
We're getting him out there, ma'am. Oh my God!
But Watson denied to police that he ever came to the home. He said the story was told to him by a woman who police questioned multiple times.
It was her, some she didn't put Cameo's name in it, but she said her dude Sam and Dro.
And he said the woman placed herself at the scene of the crime.
She's like, oh man, I f*** that dude, I hate that dude. Just going on and on, you know what I mean?
After cooperating with police, a felony burglary count Watson was facing was dropped to a misdemeanor, and he was later found guilty. Watson may be the key, but he can no longer tell his account. He was gunned down in September 2018.
Alex already pissed off at Johnny because he sold her a car, right?
Multiple theories were floated to police during interviews. One involved a car Clarke sold to friend Alex Cousineau just 2 months before the killing.
Honestly, I didn't even want to buy the car. Like, I felt Johnny just would not stop. Like, he was so incessant. It was just, I just like, shut up, here, take it. Like, I don't even care. I do need a car. I got the money for it, so just shut up, please.
She paid him $750 and promised him $750 more.
Me and Johnny actually got into an argument over the car around this period of time. Because he wanted the rest of the money for the car.
Cousineau's DNA was collected, but she's denied any involvement in the crime and she had not been charged. But court testimony shows she admitted to sending a threatening text message to another woman just 2 days after the murder. I do this shit, fam. Watch the news, bitch. Motherfuckers get duct taped and tied up and left for dead.
What's going to solve these cases is somebody's going to come forward and say, this is what happened.
On December 21st, Lisa Straub would have turned 30 years old.
I feel numb to the whole situation. It's been very tough on me. Again, she was my best friend, so I've kind of just...
I don't know, I guess ever since everything happened, I have had a hard time of still coping with everything.
Happy birthday to you.
Last month, Johnny Clarke's family and friends marked his 32nd birthday at his gravesite.
I miss what could have been. I miss what he would be today, yesterday, tomorrow. I miss the children he would have.
We love you, Johnny.
10 years, no answers. 10 years, no relief from the constant sorrow.